This is Scott Deveau for the Financial Post. Bombardier, unlike its larger rivals Boeing and Airbus, faces an interesting challenge in getting its aircraft to places like last week's Paris Airshow. The aircraft Bombardier produces, including its popular Q400 turboprops and CRJ regional jets, lack the range necessary to fly across the Atlantic in one shot, and so the Montreal-based plane and train maker is forced to ferry its planes across land masses in the North Atlantic in 4-hour stints. Captain Brian Price, the chief pilot of the Q400, conducts these sort of ferry flights around the globe for customer demonstrations and other events like last week's Airshow. Those adventures have taken him to all kinds of crazy places, and as a result, Captain Price can tell you the best place to get a pizza in Nome, Alaska, or a place where you can grill your own steaks in Goose Bay. He can also warn you to avoid the horse meat fajitas at a place called Chicago in Yakutsk, Russia, and to avoid overnights in Petropavlovsk, because as his first officer, Glenn Arthur, says, the hotels are like prisons. The Financial Post decided to tag along for a journey on a brand new Air Baltic Q400 to the Paris Airshow last week, with only the pilot, first officer, a technician tasked with fixing any issues that might arise, and 3 passengers, including myself. The aircraft we flew on only had about 6 hours in the sky to get its airworthiness certificate before our journey, which took us from Bombardier's Downview plant in Toronto through Goose Bay, Labrador, Keflavik, Iceland, and into Paris for the Airshow. New aircraft typically develop the most problems in the first 100 hours of the flight, or much later in their lives. Fortunately, the only issue we had was a faulty lavatory that delayed our flight out of Goose Bay briefly on the second day. But in all, the journey took more than 24 hours each way, with overnights in Goose Bay on the way there and Reykjavik on the way back. It was a tiresome journey that harkened back to the early 50s before transatlantic flights became a non-stop affair. Perhaps fittingly then, when we finally did arrive in Paris almost 24 hours later, we landed at Le Bourget Airport, where Charles Lindbergh completed the first solo transatlantic journey in the spirit of St. Louis in 1927.
30, 20, 10.